think we're live here now. Let's see here. What's going on, everybody? It's good to see you. My name's Dan. This is Neo Mustangs, and this is our weekly FOXBODY live stream. This week we're going to be talking about Mustang prices, and obviously, you know, every year we just saw the this past weekend, January. I think it was 12th. I think it was in the T lot or whatever. If you guys go look up Meekum auctions or whatever. Long story short, there were some really crazy, you know, awesome box bodies that went through that auction. And you know what? Give me a second here. I got to actually plug my other. Anyways, the prices of the Fox bodies kind of surprised a lot of people, but to be honest with you, I'm not really surprised with their current prices. So what we're going to be talking tonight about is do you think the Fox body Mustang prices will go up? Will you think, you know, what's going to happen in 2023? And we're going to, you know, have a little discussion on what it was like, I don't know, 20 years ago, you know, when you're buying a Fox body Mustang. Obviously that has changed quite a bit. So yeah, you know, feel free to chime in on chat here. I want to make a big shout out to the folks here in green with the icons. Those are my channel members. So if you're interested in being part of the channel and getting the member perks for the channel, which includes early viewing and icons and specialty names like that or whatever, check out the join button below. As it, you know, all that proceeds go to the channel to do things like Fox body. Anyway, let me look up this. I took a bunch of pictures of some of the vehicles, and then we'll talk about them as they come up or whatever. But let me give a big shout out to the guys here in chat. You know, KPP, good to see you, Jimmer, Broken Tool Garage, Tyler, Stangman 78, Lamar, JPL. How you guys doing? Also want to make another. I want to speak to you guys about the Fox Days of Christmas. That actually, we're finishing shipping everything out this week. I didn't get a chance to ship much last week. So if you haven't got your stuff yet for the winners, then not a big deal. Most of it went out, but I still got some, like mainly the merch stuff and mainly some of the small items. So, you know, be looking for that stuff this week or early next week. What's up, Matt Wright? Chris Gordon, good to see everybody. Broke our Bama 5.0. I'm looking for an original factory yellow Fox body notch. You talking about the mimosa yellow? Sam beige. I got cool. So, yeah, Fox body prices, guys, 2023. You know, there's a poll out there here in our live chat. Hang on, let me guys, 2023. You know, we had about 41 votes, and about 80% of the people said that they will be going up. So, hang on a second. So, you know, if we get into the topic of Fox bodies, why, you know, to be honest with you, the Fox body prices are just going to keep going up because the you know, and that's not something that I'm here to try to tell you, try to inflate the market or whatever. It's just, it is what it is. They're a popular vehicle. You know, it's often referred to as the next like 68 Camaro, a 68 Mustang, or, you know, that era of cars that were super popular. You know, Mustangs, Fox body Mustangs in specific, all the way from 79 all the way up to 93 are really, I mean, I don't know if you guys watch Meekum auctions, you know, it's kind of the heartbeat of the collector. You know, I think there's like Bear Jackson and stuff like that. Definitely something to, you know, keep an eye on, because you keep your ear to the ground, like with the Fox body prices. But, you know, what you're going to start seeing really is, you know, and it's something that's not surprising, is you're going to start seeing some of the harder to find rare collectible cars. And, you know, you might not know what they are, but we're going to actually bust out the whiteboard. I wasn't going to bust out the whiteboard tonight, but we are going to go through what I think is going to be some of the cars that you could look for that might pull, you know, if you see them for sale for a good price and you're looking at maybe investing in it for later in the future, or if you're looking at, you're just looking for a rarer color Mustang or something that's actually sought after. We're going to go through some of that stuff here on the channel tonight, and maybe I'll just put it up on the whiteboard so you guys can see, and we'll talk about some prices or whatever. But no hurry for me. I was just curious on the email. Yeah, no problem, James. No problem. Everybody gonna get their stuff that won. No problem. Don't ship mine. I'll grab mine. Okay, no problem. I'd say they go up for sure, because you got to be realistic that Fox bodies are coming to a thing of the past, like square body. That's correct. That's correct. It's a blank canvas. You can build like you want. It's not a new car. That's correct. I bought my Fox Notch 4 years ago, $8,000 Canadian. Just recently was offered 15 grand Canadian. Car is in bone stock. Listen, there's something to be said. There's something to be said about keeping a car bone stock. Like, I know if you could resist the urge to go out and spend rabbit hole money like I'm doing on this coupe right now, there's a whole, like, this is an SSP coupe, so there's a whole genre, and of like micro groups, if you want to call it that, that collect and talk about just nothing but notchback SSPs. And there's a lot of really great information out there that people's put on the internet. I mean, and this is just one example. And some of the other cars, and we're going to talk about some of them right here in the channel tonight. Like I said, we're gonna bust out the whiteboard. We're gonna put this stuff in black lettering, because the red and blue that I did last week, you couldn't really see very well. So we're going to talk about some of the rarer cars, the more sought after cars that usually pull some pretty good money. And there's a lot of them. I mean, Fox body Mustangs, like, that's the one cool thing about Fox body Mustangs in general, is the fact that there were so many different variations of interior and exterior color codes that were, almost like they had to be ordered to even get them, So it's really worth the time to talk about it, because these prices and some of these cars you may not even know existed. So Fat Boy Fox, what up? What up, Fat Boy Fox? It's good to see everybody. So we ended up, why I get this board cleared out, we ended up actually working on shooting film all weekend for our videos. And I got about 3 or 4 videos to release this week, but I don't know if I'm gonna, I just needed to get caught up. So I know we only released like 1 video last week. That just shows you how busy we actually were. It was crazy busy. But this thing always wants to fall on me. Ah! All right. Technical difficulties again. So I think we can just do it in black here with the marker. You'll be able to see it a lot better. Driver found, what did I say? 6K car, probably about 2 to 3K. So probably the most expensive Fox body. We'll start with that one, and you guys could chime in here on the chat. Obviously, the most expensive Fox body is the Cobra. In my opinion, the Cobra R. They only made about, what, 105 of them? Is that right? Super rare. These things are going, I mean, I've seen them. My buddy of mine owns the last one ever built, 93 Cobra. And he said he was offered $250,000 for it, and he turned it down. It was crazy. So that's probably one of the most expensive ones. And we'll go down and, we'll talk about it here in chat. What you guys think the next, the next expensive one? I mean, That's what we're here to do. We're here to talk about FOXBODY prices. You know, for 2023, it's not going to be any much different than 2022. Just going to, you know, everything seems like it's went up in price like exponentially. It's just, you know, you might see the deals are still out there though, guys. I mean, the deals, you know, like I did with this coupe, you know, if you look, you'll probably have to do some work on a FOXBODY if you catch a deal on it, but that goes without saying. You know, nothing's ever perfect, usually. Also, Fox and Neighbors, IROC Z. So the IROC Z actually pulled some good money on Mecum too. And Mecum, like I said, is just a collector's style. You know, it's just an auction. It doesn't mean that that's what that car's worth for the most part, because most likely the car, let's take, for example, I think there was an ultra blue one that was like a two-tone titanium that went for like 24,000. It didn't have a whole lot of like, options with it, but it was, imagine the fact that the guy, you know, the owner had to not only keep that garaged, but not really drive it a whole lot. And it had to be meticulously cleaned and protected. So keep that in mind with, you know, when you're looking at some of these prices of these FOXBODYs. Now, obviously the Cobra would probably be the number 2 most expensive. The Cobra itself, 93 Cobra, and they made, you know, what, 4,500 or something like that. 2.8 million for the Ferrari F40. You are not the only one that likes 4Eyes, Rich Long. I enjoy 4Eyes a lot. So when you're talking about like FOXBODY prices, you know, you're talking about like some of the rarities of the cars. I mean, I think there was like a triple white that went through the auction. Was there a triple black vert? I think there might have been a triple black vert. There was a Celine, a couple of those, to be honest with you. There was a Reef. Was there a Reef blue notch? I can't remember. I'm trying to look through my notes here. Regardless, those are some of the cars that are definitely, you know, if you can get your hands on them, original Reef blue, black interior notchback, you know, black on black notchback. Even the Mimosa yellow notchback was, I think they only made like 60 of those in like 88, 89. There's a lot of good FOXBODYs out there that, you know, didn't have a whole lot of, you know, a whole lot of production numbers. What do you guys think? Now there was a Mark, was it Mark 4? Was it SAAC? I think those would be next. I think that would be a very, very expensive car. SAAC Fox. I think they only made like 65 of those. I'm just randomly shouting off FOXBODY, like rare FOXBODYs that I would imagine would be worth really good money. With everything being so expensive, I think it's all going to go down in the next couple of years. So what do you guys think that the FOXBODY Mustang is actually going to decrease in value, or you think it's going to continue to increase or plateau, and why? I got my 93 notch about 8 years ago. Probably got $3,000 in it. That looks like a wild strawberry one too, isn't it? Jason Fields, I appreciate the $9.99 super sticker super chat. Thanks for donating to the channel once again, Jason. Always a pleasure having you here on the chat. Yeah, I would have to say the next one after the SAAC would probably be the Celines. Pretty much all of them, depending on the condition. Obviously, these cars, and when I say Celine, I mean hatch, I mean Burt, I mean all of them. So I would have to say that Celine would be the number 4. I mean, you're talking like 250K, you're talking like 100K, 75 to 100K. The SAACs, man, I don't even know how much those would go for. Like, I've never seen one for sale, like legitimately for sale. You know, Celines can go anywhere between what, 30, 40, 50. I mean, super expensive cars. Yeah, the 70. Also, what about like, so you start dating back, like I don't know why, I didn't really see that 79. Could you guys see the 2.3 turbo 79 Cobra? Was that right? That was at Meekum this weekend too. I forgot what that even went for. I didn't get a chance to follow it that long. It will increase to the modern 68 Mustang. Probably stay the same for a few years. Then in about 5 to 10 years, I think it'll go up again. Do you think it's just on a bubble? Did you guys see the SN95 pull some good money? I think they pulled like what, 22, 24,000? What do you guys think? What would be number 5? Expensive. I'm just going to put expensive Fox bodies. So, all right. Let me tell you legitimately. Honestly, I just think that people are enjoying the Fox bodies. All right, look. Fox body Mustangs are literally like a toy car. Tell me I'm wrong. There's literally everything for these cars, right down to titanium fasteners for just about every part of it. What isn't cool about taking a 2,500, 2,800, 3,000 pound Fox body Mustang and going out running 8s or 9s in a quarter mile, being hard to beat regardless wherever it goes, looking nostalgic, looking awesome, being lightweight, highly modified, probably the most modified car in America. I mean, and honestly, I think people are seeing that because, I mean, you can't go to a track, whether it be no prep, quarter mile, 8 mile, you can't go to a track and not see at least a handful, a half dozen Fox body Mustangs, whether they be in pro mod form or just straight, beater with a heater, making it down the strip at like 13-second quarter miles, 14-second quarter miles. They're just nostalgic. The cars are just, there's so many mods out there and so many different directions, not even including, but not limited to, the engine swaps. Like they have specific K members for these cars, like, from Mopar to Chevy to the other Ford exotic engines. We're talking like Barra engines. So naturally, these cars are going to continue to gain popularity. I don't even think it's more the prices, it's more the popularity of the actual vehicle itself, in the supply and demand, as you want to always call it. It's just people are wanting they want a Fox body Mustang that they know they can make budget power on and have a bunch of fun in it, right? But they also want a Fox body that they know they can at least get a majority of their money back, maybe depending on how they restore it and how much money they put into it, where they're saving money is doing the work themselves. So legitimately, I think they're going to continue to gradually increase. I don't think there's going to be a big bubble anytime soon. I just think a supply and demand thing is going to continue to grow as more people want to get involved with owning a Fox body Mustang, especially considering nothing's cooler than modding up a car. I don't know if you guys had the little track cars, you know what I mean? What was that? Not Tyco. You know what I mean? The little electric cars. I used to take those cars apart and I would change their engines and their tires and make them more like lightweight so they could be faster. And me and my cousins would race each other like every weekend. And it's the same thing. It's crazy. Let me get back here and chat. Avenger Super Dave, man, I appreciate the super sticker, $20 towards the channel, man. Thank you so much for donating to the channel again. Super Dave has been one of my, top donators here to the channel, and he's also a channel member. So, guys, thank you so much for what you guys do for the channel. I couldn't answer. I don't own a Fox body, but I'm planning on getting one. See? So the interest is out there. So like Zach Fox body said right here, that's just, people are interested in the car. So there might be a deal they're waiting for, You know, like I found this coupe. This is the coupe I've been looking for a long time. Is it in the best shape? No, but it's structurally sound. I'm going to make the car nice. I'm going to spend money on this car because this car is worth it, not only for its history of having the SSP tag, but also for being a Fox Body V8 original 5-speed notchback. You see what I mean? So there's something to be said about that. That carries weight. Do you know what I'm saying? And 4Eyes have their own. You know, you have 4Eye. You know, 4Eye cars are beautiful. Like they went through a transition from like 83, 84, where they changed their bumpers. You know, 85, 86 started getting into more of the Euro nose, but they were still, you know, a 4Eye. I really dig 4Eye cars, especially the notchbacks. I'm not really too much into the hatches or the T-top stuff, but the more I see the notchback 79 to like 86 makes me want to convert that thing to, you know, EFI and kind of update it for like a 10-year later Fox Body Mustang, you know, wiring harness. But I enjoyed them a lot. I enjoy watching them go down the track too, man. So the I would have to say the number 5 car after the Celine. Now, start getting into the cars that are kind of, what do you guys think the number 5 would be? Obviously, it's not going to be a specialty car because the SAAC, I shouldn't even be mentioning the SAAC because that was only released privately. That wasn't something that you could really get. I think you had to be part of a club. I think it was the Celine, what is it? The something of America. I don't know. I don't even remember what SAAC stands for, man. I'm brain dead tonight. But I don't think there's a lot of like specialty cars. I would have to start saying the limited edition cars, like your limited, which was the yellow. That was actually for sale, you know, this past weekend. The limited edition, which was the yellow vert, I think that's going to start pulling some money. Like that came in an auto and a 5-speed version, if I'm not mistaken, but I think they all had black leather. You're talking about, we're gonna say, I'm not gonna say number 6, but I'm just gonna say A would be the summer edition. I think the summer edition only came, no, that came with 5-speed or auto. Summer edition was red. I think that's gonna start. There was one that was I just took a picture of this past summer that was actually at one of our car shows, and they make a whole lot of these limiteds in these summers, but these are convertibles, and I think these are going to start actually pulling some good money, you know, here on the Fox Body community soon. You know, you got the triple white vert. What was it? White top, white car, white ponies. Is that right, or something like that? Triple white, triple vert white. Yeah, whatever. You guys get it. There was also a triple black vert, if I remember correctly. That was also really cool. So these are all convertibles. You're going to start seeing all these cars really kind of start coming, you know, coming to their age. You know what I mean? There was also another one. It was a 7-Up version. Now, for those of you guys that don't know what the 7-Up vert looked like, they actually had one for sale at Mecum this past weekend. It was white ponies, white top, white interior, but it was like a forest green. Now that was a promo. If I remember correctly, they made about 1,900 of those. Not a very popular car. I want to say all of them were auto. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But they only made 1,900 of that very specific car, specific color or whatever. And it was a promo for the 7-Up, the soda, the pop, whatever you want to call it. And I don't think they actually gave any of them away. I think they actually canceled the promo, so those cars kind of got forgotten. Does that make sense? So we're going to say the 7-Up vert. You're going to start seeing these cars are just collector. No matter how good, bad, or indifferent, or ugly, or beautiful, or whatever those cars are, there's not a whole lot of them anymore. You know, they made them in limited quantities to begin with, and if there was anything that was cool about Fox Bodies, especially you know, 87 and 93s, they had all these different versions of they didn't just have a base model. I mean, they had the LX and the GT and the Notch, the sedan, whatever, but they had some cool like spin-offs of it. You know what I mean? So let me go up here and ACA, yeah. 7-Up brought in some decent money. Yeah, so that definitely, you know, when I was watching Mecum, that definitely pulled some good money, the 7-Up did. And here's the thing is, you know, 10, 15 years ago with the 7-Up Mustang, nobody really cared about that car all that much. And it was just like, it was like, oh, it's ugly and then blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I think I like the forest green. I like the white top. It's different. And, you know, the collectability on a car like that, especially one that's got lower miles and it's been pretty clean. I mean, imagine how many of those are actually in really good, clean form. You know, and you wonder why these things are pulling 30 grand at Mecum, because they only made, like I said, 1,700 or 1,900. They didn't make very many of them. They only made them 1 year. I think it was 1990. And they canceled the promo, so that kind of gives them a little more of a rare collectability. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we're going to put the McLaren right here with limited. We'll go with number 6, the McLaren. Is that right? Not McLaren. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The McLaren is something that a lot of people don't see at all. And I think, wasn't the McLaren 87, 88 only? I think it was a couple years only, and I don't think it was in the 90s. You know, you don't hear or see a lot of the McLaren at all. And I highly suggest, if you're new to the FOXBODY community and you're not very up to date on some of the FOXBODYs that are, you know, pulling good money, or, you know, that you're not familiar with what's out there that's rare, you know, this is why we're making this list. If you look up McLaren FOXBODY, it's just a different type. I think it's like a hard top convertible. It's kind of hard to explain. They were made a little bit different. Definitely collectible. Let me go through the chat here, boys. I cried when I seen FOXBODYs on Fear Factor. That's when the price is gone. Word on the street is that notch is going to be slow. That's right. Hey, man, I want to throw a thank you out there for this Speed Density FMU turbo setup. I'm about to try it on my – that's cool, man. Good luck with that. It definitely does work. What's up, 650 Motors in the house? What's going on, Edgar? It's good to see you, man. Shelby America Auto Club. 7-Up. Yep, we talked about 7-Up. Detch. Now, see, I don't know anything about, like, we're going to put Detch in here. We're going to put Detch here at the 7 mark. I honestly, if I remember correctly, that was like a Canadian build, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know a whole lot of history, and it's, you know, I'm shameful to admit, of the Detch history on the you know, what I can get, you know, I've actually talked to Chris quite often over at Infamous Project, you know, at various shows, and he's given me a rundown of what Detch was all about. Matter of fact, if you're interested in converting one of your cars to Detch, I think he does create, now don't quote me on this, but I think he does recreate the ground effects pieces, and he's like the guru to go to for when it, you know, when you start talking and start, you know, when you get introduced to the Detch platform on the FOXBODY. So Infamous Project, he has his own FOXBODY channel. So if you're curious about that stuff, go check him out on his channel. And we'll keep moving on. Now, don't take this list as this is what, you know, this is out of order. You know, this could be, one car could be higher than the other or whatever, but this is basically kind of what's going on right now, as far as, you know, FOXBODYs that, and I'm just using my knowledge and putting them here. You know what I mean? The SVOs probably almost, see, that's the beauty about FOXBODYs, is they made so many different versions. You almost can't list them. It's like a discredit for one to the other. It's just not. I shouldn't even put a number there, because that makes it look like this car is better than that car or whatever. Let's keep that real here, guys. This is not in sequential order. It's some formation of it, sure, but I'm about to put SVO at number 8, and SVO can easily be at number 5. You see what I mean? Or number 4 for that matter. SVO Mustangs is definitely a collectible and, you know, car that's highly sought after. Those, I'm gonna put that 8 here. We all think it's whiteboard. Now, SVO Mustangs has its own following for the most part. I mean, it's just, you know, it's a different type of car. Like there was different, like there's 2.3 turbo motors. They had different computers. They had different ground effects. They had different, you know, exterior and interior pieces. You see what I mean? So this is definitely a Mustang Fox body that we have seen go for really big money. To be honest with you, you know, SVO Mustangs should be somewhere around here. You know, 4 or 5, right up there with the Celine Mustangs. You see what I mean? Let me catch up, guys. Dutch is the Canadian Celine. Okay. Capri, the Mercury Capri, we're going to talk about that with some of the production cars. The GT350, that's another one. Good one, good one. Now, I think that's what, 83, 84, right? White with red trim. We're going to go 83, 84. They actually made a GT350 for a couple of years that pulls good collectability money. And we're not just here to talk about the rare Mustangs, because we're still going to get into, you know, the other Fox bodies as well. 92 triple white vert, that's up there. Definitely the SVO. It's getting harder to find parts, that's for sure. That is for sure. What's up, Daniel Robinson, my Summit Tech? Good to see you, my man. So I'm pretty, the pace, my bad. You guys were talking about it earlier, and I didn't put it on there. I would almost put the pace Fox, that's what I'm going to say there. I would almost categorize all 3 of these almost like in the same, like, collectability. You know, you see a lot of that in 79 to 86, these vehicles here. Very collectible, especially in really good condition. These prices are continuing to rise, especially the SVO. You know, McLaren's getting hard to find. Dutch is the Canadian Celine, like you were talking about. You know, these Verts are all, you know, they did make a good number of these Verts, these special edition ones, but Vert, you know, you didn't see a whole lot of people, like, there's not a big demand for it. But as far as a collectability concern, definitely a big demand. I don't want to say not a big demand. It's just if you're not a convertible type of person, you might be more inclined to go after a Cobra or a Celine or even like a notchback, like you start talking about some of the rare colors that we're about to talk about. So lots of, you know, again, some of the stuff that I say here, guys, you know, is no discredit to anybody's car. No, there's no discredit to anybody's collectors, whatever. We're just talking some shop shit. We're having some fun. You know, we're just trying to spread light in the fact that Fox body prices are going to continue to rise a little bit. And these are some of the cars that you're going to see might rise more than the normal ones. You see what I mean? Almost like we're doing a list of rare collectible Fox bodies that they didn't make a whole lot for. So Steeda, I would put Steeda on there, Dave, but Steeda wasn't a, that wasn't like an aftermarket thing. Does that make sense? I actually own, and I've mentioned this before on the channel, I actually own one of the original kits that Steeda made for the shotgun customs that they made for Ronnie. What was his name? He was the Mopar driver in the 80s. If you guys know your history, you know what I'm talking about. There was like 6 of them made. 3 were LX hatches and 3 were notchbacks. And the 3 notchbacks were made for, made to be like a drag strip edition. Like if you guys really want to check out some cool history, I'm actually got a video in my laptop here of me discussing about the shotgun customs coupe that was made. I think Steeda was more of an aftermarket. I think the car had to go, it was just a production model car, one of 10,000 that year. and I think it went to the Steeda plant. You see what I mean? It was like an option that you could buy. I don't know if it was at the dealer or not. Somebody can correct me, comment below, whatever. I think that was extra. I think that had nothing to do with Ford. Blue, no blue tweet factory. Ronnie Socks. Ronnie Socks, that's right. So he was a Ronnie Socks. Look up Ronnie Socks and Shotgun Customs, and you'll see what I'm talking about. There was 3 notchbacks made. God, I can only imagine how much one of those would be worth. Pretty well known back in the 80s and the early 90s for his racing with Mopar. But he had ordered, if I'm not mistaken, he had ordered special made, and Steeda made the kit for these cars. And it's kind of a really cool kit. And I ended up getting it on a parts car like 15 years ago. It came out of New York. It was actually on an LX. God knows if it was one of the 3 that they made. But from what I was told, when I called Steeda, they only made 6 of those cars. And they don't even have paperwork on the kit that they made. You know what I mean? The comment, Ronnie, yeah, Pro Mod was sick. So they actually, you know how they make these drag pack cars? Like Mopar made what was it, the Demon? They made drag pack, and you know that's starting to kind of become a thing. You know, with the Camaro, what was it? Is it the Copo? I don't know. Anyways, they're starting to offer that option for enthusiasts to actually have a Mustang or a Mopar or a Chevy that could be specifically made for like street strip. But back in the day, and I'll get off the subject with Ronnie Socks, but I'm pretty sure he had all 3 of those notchbacks made with the specialty kits. But I think they came with like a 351 or something. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of lost information that I'd really love to show the channel someday. One of my favorite cars. I heard that the 193 Cobra convertible. Man, come on. Was there any final edition Fox bodies? What do you mean by that? Okay, so now we're going to get into, I think we got this list pretty good. There's going to be a couple that come up that we're not going to see, and I understand that. And we'll add to it, but let's get into the topic of Fox body prices of normal production cars. Now, when I say normal production cars, I'm talking about a car that's not on this list. We're talking, the 88 LX hatchback T-top. Now, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I'm pretty sure the 88 T-top LX hatchback they only made like 100 of them. And you can look at the production numbers or whatever, but if you remember correctly, the Euro-nosed Fox bodies 87 to 93, the ones that we have on the channel for the most part, that we cover most of, 87 had a T-top option the whole year, but 88 was like a half of a year. So we're talking about cars like that are super collectible for the most part, that are actually highly sought after for either their paint code, their body style, or their paint and interior code. So we can shout out some stuff here in the chat if you guys want to help me with it. And again, we're not going to go in any sequential order, meaning that we're just making a list of Fox bodies that have a rare, desirable option to them, whether it be the body style and the interior code, or whether it be the T-tops or the convertibles, etc. So I would have, do you think the 5.0 motor better than the older 5.0 motors? They both have their strengths. That's not something I would be wanting to comment on, because that's an opinionated thing, because I know that the Coyotes are badass motors, man, and the old pushrod motors have their own. So hard to figure what these cars are actually selling when you see a beat up POS on Bookface for 18K. Yep. Guess it was fake. What was fake? Mustang guy, let me read back. I don't know. Do you think the last Fox body ever made, current owner, the current owner found under the factory seat a bunch of signatures from the line workers? Man, that is super cool. Really? Desirable 5.0s, LOL. The Reef Blue. So that's what I was going to start with. I was going to start with actually the Calypso. The Calypso notch with black interior. I think this was if I remember correctly, like 92, 93. I think this was a very popular car. You haven't heard a whole lot of it. Can you guys still see that? Or am I writing too small again? I don't have a whole lot of board space here now. And there's a handful of them. We'll do about 6 or 7 or 10, whatever. Sage Green SVO. Woo. I'll try to write a little bit bigger for you guys. Calypso notch. Doesn't matter. Interior. I'm not even going to get into interior code, but I think it's with black interior. I think they're all with black interior because you guys got to remember, black interior was like a $2,000 option, if I'm not mistaken. So you had to actually order that for the most part. They didn't make a whole lot of them like straight off the like off the line. If I remember correctly. Reef Blue reminds me of the Baltic Blue Supras. Okay, so Reef Blue. I know that we're going to go with just Reef Blue in general. That didn't make a whole lot of Reef Blue. But I'm going to say Reef Blue notch with black interior. Would you guys agree? Now, when I say black interior, it doesn't matter if it's leather. Leather would make it even more rare because that's definitely a super option. And it did happen in some of these notchbacks, but it was super rare. Explains why factory black parts are so hard to find. It's an option. Production numbers for what year? Reef Blue. Let's see what Chris Arnold said. And I'm just talking about now. We're also talking about cars that are sought after. So we're just talking about normal production cars that are sought after. So I would almost be ventured to say that one of these on the list should be outside of all of them. That's correct. And like I said, we're just talking about some of the cars, just notchbacks in general. We're just going to put a good, clean, you got your Reef Blue and your Calypso, but notchbacks in general, original 505 speed cars that are in good, clean, not beat up condition have really gained their value as of the last few years. Maybe that shouldn't be here, but we're going to put it there anyways. Bimini. Definitely think that Bimini would be a good one. What other codes were there? There was Bimini. Let's just talk about, color codes. Bimini would be a good one. The Mimosa. Now, I think the Mimosa was only 87, 88, if I remember correctly. Now, it had to have a sand beige interior. I think they all came like that for the most part. But in notch form, there wasn't a whole lot of those made. Tangerine, 87, 92, unmarked. Oh, I forgot to add SSPs up here. Let's just do that. SSPs is being kind of having their own SSP notch. Considering it was a former police vehicle, has its own, and this dates back to, what is it, 85, guys? I think Utah started it. Oh, T-tops. Good call, T-tops. Pretty much all T-tops for the most part. the more rare ones for the Euro nosed 87, 88, especially the half year 88, definitely a rare auction. Now they're not the same glass. If I remember correctly, 87, 88 T-top is a different glass and structure than 86 and lower. Correct me if I'm wrong here. So T-top, good one. T-top cars. I think those are a great collector car. Now here's a rare car for you guys, and it does follow the SSP notchback. So this is what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to actually erase this up top and fix this mess. So I'm going to say SSP notch, right? Now this could go from 85 to, when did they stop making the SSPs? Did they go through 93? I don't even remember. 85 to question mark. There was also an LX version. Now tell me I'm wrong here. There was an LX version of a notchback. It was an unmarked car. Somebody had mentioned it here right just now in chat. Good job. So LX version unmarked. Now, if I remember correctly, each police department ordered one, and I think it was for like detectives and stuff. So there was only one on each department. And if there was paperwork on that car, that would definitely be regardless of what color it is, because it's going to be a specific color anyways, that would definitely be something cool to see at a car show or like one of the FOXBODY events, is a real former police LX version, which means that that they might have bought two. I don't know. I couldn't tell you for sure, but they didn't buy a whole bunch of them as chaser vehicles. You see what I mean? I think my 1990 SSP was like one of 170 for Florida. You see what I mean? I think this was like a very few for the most part. Now, when I say LX, excuse me, let me rephrase. LX hatch version. My apologies. That's what I meant. LX hatch version. Listen, a lot of the SSP cars that were former police vehicles should be tagged on their title, but there's a lot of cool things. Like if you watched my videos this past couple weeks, there was like a light bar on my roof of my car. You could see the holes where they had the light bar in the back too. If you actually like strip down some of the paint, you can see the black and the yellow. We're going to probably return this car back to its original paint form from when they went to the SSPs. I think that would be really cool. But anyways, there was an LX hatch version of the SSP, and like I said, I think it was driven by like just administrators at the police departments. There wasn't a whole bunch of them issued per unit. You know what I'm saying? So tell me, yeah, what else we got? So we're back here. Calypso notch, reef blue notch. There was the black on black notch, I think was a really good one. I think that's pretty collectible, highly sought after. Black, did they have leather? Black on black, meaning black paint, black interior. Now I don't think they made a whole lot of these cars. And I think that's what makes them pretty collectible. Like, yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. So that car was detective only. Yo, I think so. Me and Brutal talked about this about 6 months ago. Like, how cool would it be to see a LX former police vehicle hatch version, the original with paperwork? I think that would be really cool. It would have its own little story, and it would be different than the other chaser cars. No coupe had sport leather. No, I didn't think it didn't have. I didn't think it'd have any leather. I have seen. No, I don't know, man. I have seen some coupes. It must have been recovered. All the police. Okay, so all the police chiefs were taking the hatch SSP cars home to enjoy them. What about the chicken notch? I have pics of one car that went to the Air Force and one went to the. Really? Was tweed gray a rare interior? No. Actually, tweed gray was like the default. Red was really popular. Blue was really popular in the 87, 89s, along with gray itself. Then it came out with titanium gray and black in 90. And if you guys know, all the 93 color codes for the interior are all named after a gem. So opal gray, gem, you know, ruby red, gem. You know, black was still just black from 90 to 93. So it was all the same, like ebony black. I don't even remember what, I think it was what the name of it was. It was like a matte color. But the gray and the red, they stopped making blue, and titanium was 90 to 92. So yeah, most things were just gray. Getting the Air Force U2 Chase SSP car would be amazing. Yes, no thanks. I understand that. Like they were still had the velour cloth seats. 91 was the first year for tweed. There's also an option for leather, if I'm not mistaken. So, what other what other highly sought after are we looking at? Black on black notch, Bimini, Mimosa, Reflu, Calypso, both in black interior. I'm just blank right now. I think the Ultra Blue is kind of sought after. Now, Ultra Blue came in a titanium two-tone. So let's talk about two-tones. I think those were kind of has their place here in the market as well. I think two-tones are a great addition to this board. Ultra Blue, Titan. I like to say that there's a red with Titan two-tone that really wasn't made a whole lot. So I think two-tone cars have their place here too. Matter of fact, one of the cars that were on the block this past weekend was pulling something around like 25 or 30 grand, and it was an Ultra Blue two-tone titanium hatchback. My project is currently white with blue interior. That's rare. Do you think a cement gray or car color would match well with blue interior? I don't know. Gonna need a bigger board. Beige tweed in 89 or before. Okay, so the sand beige tweed, for as far as I know, only came in a convertible, and it only came in 1989. The only time I've ever seen sand beige tweed seats, now they didn't make a blue, but they did make a sand beige tweed, was in a convertible. Now, don't quote me on it. I'm not that much of a FOXBODY guru to know the exact numbers and all that stuff, but sand beige interior, they actually made a yellow interior, guys, 87 and 89, mainly 87, 88 on a lot of, did I put Mimosa up here? Yes. And a lot of the yellow, aka Mimosa, whatever you want to call them, notchbacks and hatchbacks. So I appreciate that, Waze Coatings. What about the silver car? You talking about the Titan Frost? There's definitely, I think Titan Frost could be up here. Wild Strawberry could be another one. That's not a very common color. I mean, what's the last time you seen a Wild Strawberry coupe or hatch for that matter? Let's go with, where we're talking about, colors here. Let's continue with, You know, Wild Strawberry over here. Let's get rid of 87, 88. Definitely worth a mention for sure. Wild Strawberry, especially. How many of you guys seen that Celine 18-inch Celine silver chrome Celine wheels on that Wild Strawberry coupe? Like, it's like one of the oldest pictures on the internet, but I mean, it's a super, super nice coupe. There's also a black notch with silver Celines on it, or chrome Celines on it too. That's like the most overused like Fox body picture on the internet. That was taken a long time ago. Wild Strawberry, I think, is a good color to mention. Titan Frost. Not a lot of those made, especially in coupe form. You know, when's the last time you've seen those cars? You know, I mean, Infamous Project runs a really, really nice Titan Frost coupe. Electric Red was definitely rare. Titan Frost. What was that off-white car that was? I drank too much. If we were talking just rare Fox bodies, now I'd love it. Lincoln Mark 7. So, I mean, this is like where we're at. I mean, if you look at some of these, you know, you look at some of these pictures. Where the hell is my pictures? I keep messing this up. Like, to be honest with you, there was an Electric Red 93. I think it was an Electric Red. That might have been performed. They got red happy in 90 to 93. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I mean, they had the Electric Red, you had the Cabaret, you had the Medium, you had the what the Summer had. Was it Vibrant? I think it was Vibrant Red. You had the Performance Red. They had the Wild Strawberry. There was just too many reds for 4 years, and they're all beautiful. But there was one convertible that pulled. I think it pulled 20 or 25,000. Didn't have very many miles on it. This past weekend, it was a red color. I think those reds are all not common. You know, as a matter of fact, I think the Vibrant Red was used. Was that the Cobra color, if I'm not mistaken? Or was it Performance Red? I want to say it was Performance Red. I don't know what I'm thinking here. Kent McCraney, I appreciate the super sticker, $5 to donate to the channel, man. Thank you so much. You know, I appreciate everybody who takes the time to do that. It means a lot. Thank you so much. Blue and titanium with some gold Daytons. What is that? Menace to Society reference right there? Would you say there's about half still out there? See, that's a good point to make right there. We're going to talk about that. Considering the rarity of these cars and considering the rarity of just a few of the colors of these cars. Again, this isn't, you know, this isn't set in stone. These are just, we're just talking some tonight on some live stream. These are just some things, some colors, some car options, the T-tops, the black interiors, the black leather, you know, the triple vert, the triple white, the triple black vert. We're just talking about cars in general. One thing to really consider is how many of these are actually out there. So, like, let's just say, for instance, like somebody just brought that up. Like, let's say the Reef Blue notch with black interior they made. I don't know. Somebody throw a number out there. I don't even know. Without Googling it, and I'm not going to do that. Let's just say they made 500 of them. How many of those are actually out there still in good working functional form that aren't repainted, you know, chopped up? You know, how it's when you see these cars at an event or a car show, you just have to almost appreciate and just stop and take a picture and enjoy it. Especially the summer edition car, this vert that I seen this past summer. Like, I got pictures of it, and I did post it on my Instagram. The car was absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And it was literally, I'm like, how much do you want for this car? It was that nice. Like, I can't have nice shit, though. I mean, I gotta race things. But Dove Gray, good one. That's a good call. Good call on the Dove Gray. Good call. And for those that don't know what Dove Gray is, super rare. Dove Gray. A matter of fact, there was a Dove Gray hatch GT at FOXBODY this past year. It's actually in my video. The picture you hear the Wild Strawberry, but you look at it straight and it looks maroon. True, but I love that wild strawberry color. Looked at the numbers earlier today, just over 1 million Foxes. That's correct. I'm guessing 5% remaining. There's more than 5%. Doesn't it seem like way more? What does it say? Doesn't it seem like way more Fox bodies survived than IROCs? For sure. Guys, I'm an IROC and I'm an IROC fan, and I'm also a SS Monte Carlo fan, and I'm also, that's the G body, right? Yeah. And I'm also a fan of the Grand National. So those are, you know, if you like Fox bodies, it's not uncommon to find. I'm a Fox body fanatic, but I still enjoy the 87, 88, 89, the old teal IROC, you know, the silver Monte Carlo SS, and, you know, obviously the Grand National itself. So I still enjoy those cars. I don't think Mopar really made anything to even consider for the most part. Dare I say that? I know there's one 7-Up version my buddy crashed in mid-2000s. I've been wanting to do an LS build in a third Camaro, but I looked at a Silverado and just felt wrong. So there's definitely a big following for the third gen Camaros, Z28s, IROCs. The cool factor about Fox bodies, to be honest with you guys, is like even the 82 GT. I'm just throwing 82 GT out there. You know what I'm talking about, like that dark maroon looking 82 GT that was like the only year that they made those ground effects or whatever. Like IROC didn't do that shit. Like they didn't do really anything outside of the ordinary like this. And you wonder in this whole world of collecting and buying Fox body Mustangs, why they're so popular, why they make so much money. Outside of the fact that they're light, they're raced often, and there's about every mod possible that you can buy for them. There's not a wonder that these cars are the prices that they are. You see what I mean? The other cars just didn't have that. The 305 was like lackluster in the IROC. It didn't even come with a posi rear end, and I think most of them were automatic. Plus, it was heavy. Am I hating on it? Absolutely not. Put an LS motor in that and tune that car up, man. That thing is different. You see what I mean? The Grand National kept up pretty good. I really like the whole style behind the Grand National as well. But Fox body Mustangs, I mean, it's just, there's a reason why they are priced the way they are today, because they're just popular, man. I mean, any 40-year-old guy like myself, 45, remembers these cars and always wanted them when we were in high school. Blue IROC was beautiful to me. Yeah, so was it blue or was it like a teal? You guys know which one I'm talking about? They made like 1 million of them. Like every IROC you've seen was like blue. The icing. Yeah, I seen that. They're doing a giveaway on that. That's a really nice reef blue they got too. If I went to high school in the 90s, the Fox bodies ran the street unless you ran across somebody with one of them twin turbo cars. Metallic blue. Was that the color of it? Of the IROCs? So nice. Man, take me back to the 90s. Woo. Take me back to the 90s. 1990 behind me. Both these cars are 1990. I would be like a freshman in high school or whatever. Let's see one of those roll up. Awesome. How many votes did we get? We got 134 votes. And 75% of you guys said that Fox body prices will go up in 2023. I completely agree with that. Grand Nationals are any color you want as long as it's black. That's correct. Crazy to me that 95 Cobra R 250 built aren't selling. Now listen, if you guys didn't see it, don't know if I put that here. What did that triple? Oh yeah, that triple white vert went for almost what, 40K? Woo! the triple black, is that a triple black or is it a? I think that's an LX. Well, that's just an LX. They didn't say anything about it. Went for like 20 grand. The limited was over 30 when I last seen it. It had the chrome ponies on it. There's I got like 20 pictures here from Meekum that I tried to take and save for this very occasion. So yeah, if you're watching this stream like you are a podcast and you didn't get a chance to see it live, make sure you blow up the comments and tell me one of the cars that might be on this list that you guys, that I mentioned. Again, there's no discredit to anything that is on or is not on this list. We're just here talking about FOXBODY stuff. We're just here talking about color codes. We're just here talking about desirability. We're just talking about prices. So there was a Typhoon, wasn't there? If Mustangs are going all electric, nope. I'm not even going to talk about that. I missed all the good years. I was born in 97. So yeah, being that you're 25, Dom, it's always nice to hear things like this, when, you get like I'm not really trying to educate more than like have like a nostalgia moment with all this stuff. I mean, I owned a Cobra once. I've seen a Cobra R once. SAAC, I hadn't even seen one, but like 2 of those, like ever, like in person. I've owned a couple of Celines. One had like 1,000 miles on it. The guy who owns the last Cobra R actually bought my Celine. Never owned a limited yellow. Owned a couple of the reds, the Summers. I owned a triple black vert. I owned a 7-Up vert. It was in really poor condition. I almost bought a McLaren. Dutch, I did not. SSP notch, I owned about 4 of those. I definitely would enjoy having one of the LX hatch SSPs, but SVOs, never owned one. GT350, almost bought one. Owned a couple Pace Foxes from like 79. Calypsos, Reefs, all the colors. I've owned all the colors, including T-tops. Matter of fact, I got one of the LX T-tops in the back, 88. Ultra Blues on the channel. Yeah. So why do I think FOXBODY prices are going up? Because they appeal to the generation of nostalgia. I was born in 93, and FOXBODYs are starting to grab a younger generation. That's correct. That is 100% correct. Good point there, Carlos, because that's exactly what I'm trying to iterate here today on the channel. FOXBODY prices are starting, and you see Dom, I talked about Dom, he said he was born in 97. It's starting to appeal, especially for like the race appeal part of it and the modability, like being able to mod the car. They're just a cool car. They're old. They're not super hard to find. I mean, you can get really good deals. A lot of them need work at this point. They're 30, 35 years old. There's bushings and bolts and shit in them that's just in terrible condition. But they're still worth their money. Whether that money be $1,000 or $10,000, that doesn't, it all depends on condition. A lot of folks that might not know a whole lot about FOXBODYs might think that one car or the other is worth more money than the other. You see what I mean? And just because of something they read on the internet. A lot of the reasons why some of these FOXBODYs are pulling some of the money they are is because they're meticulously clean. They're not rusted. They're not dented. They don't have a salvage title. That would be a whole nother like live stream. Like that would be a really good topic. What do you guys think? We could talk about some of the things that would devalue your FOXBODY. And when you start buying a FOXBODY Mustang and you start getting into collecting it and showing it, racing it, driving it, just enjoying the damn thing, there's things that as a mass, the mass would say devaluing your Mustang. Like a lot of people don't like Euro taillights. Like that's not something that would really devalue it, because you could take it out and put the original ones back in. But using wood screws for a console and bolting up a dashboard to the car using sheet metal screws, stuff like that really bothers me. And I've seen a lot of that in our past. Me and cousin Paul have seen so much of that, it's not even funny. Mods are cheap for Fox bodies. It's that simple. It's true. It's cheaper to make a Fox body go fast at a drag strip, much like, you know, and Dom's actually a really good example of that. What's the biggest devalue? Probably the rebuilt salvage title is probably the big. And we'll talk about a whole live stream about it. But I would say the number one devaluing item for any vehicle, for that matter, is if it has a salvage rebuilt title, and it means that at some point that car was in a total loss, car, truck, vehicle, whatever. That's the number one devaluing factor. I mean, there was that, you know, that Cobra, you know, if you remember the video, I did the swap meet. You know, I did the swap meet. You know, you won't know what you'll never know what I find in the swap meet, whatever. There was a black Cobra there. That Cobra was actually, it looked really nice. He's a follower here on the channel, but the fact that it had a salvage rebuilt title, I think that devalued the car quite a bit, because at some point that car had to be rebuilt because it was smashed up or something. So. Stock 4-link cars was a big plus to the Fox body. I agree with that, Fat Boy Fox. I ain't heard nothing from Hanlon Motorsports all day. What's Hanlon up to? Right. So, rust. Yeah, so a devaluing factor as well would be rust. Rust, I think, is, you know, and it depends on how much and where it's at. But we're going to talk, I think we're going to talk about that next week, about things that, you know, things in the Fox body genre that that would devalue the car. And of course, not all that is set in stone. It's just, we're just here talking, guys. He gave the what? Mismatched VIN and body parts. That's a good one. There's so many different devaluing things that could happen on these Fox bodies. So many. Like the fact that my SSP notch, its whole front end's banged up. Like, I'm pretty sure that happened in, like, the Carfax I have for the coupe, I'm pretty sure that happened when it was in service. You know, the cops were using it or whatever. It was chased. That's probably the main reason why that car got decommissioned. It already had like 90,000 miles on it to begin with, so it probably got in a front end collision, chasing whatever. Wasn't really bad, but it was enough to see the aprons were bent a little bit and the frame rails were bent. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I'm just going to lighten it up in the front and put the tubular in the front anyway. So put the like Maximum Motorsport weld on one. It'll look clean. It'll look nice. You know, there's a reason for it. Torn up torque boxes. I'm beginning to think I see more Fox bodies than 94. Oh, say I'm going to tell you what, 94, 95s have their day in the sun soon. The Mecum auction showed a couple rare 94, 95 color codes. They're going to start coming up in value. They're going to have their day in the sun. It's just the way it is. So what do you guys think? I mean, I know I'm leaving out a whole ton of shit here, but you know, this is just general topic of conversation tonight. You know, we're about an hour and 15 in. We'll talk for a few more minutes. I agree with that. Cash for clunkers, the cash for clunker thing also, you know, killed a lot of the Explorer 5.0s as well. That was probably one of the most scrapped out vehicles, was the Explorer. And, you know, we use those as donor vehicles for car parts for our Fox bodies. And they have their own, you know, genre of people that actually really like, you know, they modify the, you know, the Explorers themselves. So. The my 94 5-lug put 325 wide tire on them and disc brake all the way around. All right. What's up, Hanlon? All right, so want to get into a couple of, we can continue talking about all you guys want. I will continue to field questions on the subject. I did want to make a special shout out to Hanlon Motorsports, who's the main sponsor here on the channel. You see him right here in my poster, wherever I'm pointing at. We are going to, I want to make another announcement. I'm going to continue to talk about it until the day it happens. We are going to be running a stick shift competition at Ford Takeover in collaboration with Foxcast Media. We actually, we have two big sponsors for that event itself. Plus these sponsors are going to show up to the event for Foxcast Media like the whole weekend. So you guys got to stay tuned to what's coming on the channel soon. What Caleb's got going on with Ford Takeover 2023. It's going to be super epic. We already have 15 of the 16 car field. We have one more car left to get into the field, but it's a $100 buy-in, and we're going to have some racing the Saturday of Ford Takeover, June 24th. We're going to have a great time. Like I said, we have the Facebook. If you go to the Facebook page, Neo Mustangs, you'll see that we've already made a list. We've already made the rules and everything. We're going to actually make an event page soon, but big shout to Hanlon, big shout to Foxcast Media. We're going to have an epic time this year at Ford Takeover, and you know, they're going to be giving some stuff away. Where did the 3 bars come off of? 96, early 97, about a year and a half. What's up, Treetop Tom? It's good to see you, man. I ain't seen you in a while. I'm late here at questions. What all can I do for the stock Fox before needing some type of tuning? Well, I mean, if you're, even when you put some boost on there, Treetop Tom, you can get away with doing like an FMU and 19-pound injectors with like 5 or 6, 7 pounds of boost. We did that on Dad's car. It worked out really well. Even with GT40 heads and a speed density system, you know, really wasn't too bad. FMU will definitely kind of keep the fuel backed up in the injector enough to feed the supercharger or the turbo, whatever you run, you know, the proper fuel it needs. So just to get you started, if that's what you're talking about. You're all going to see NA Coyote gap some forced induction cars. Oh, okay. Well, this guy. Hanlon, I've seen that already. So yeah, we picked up when we haven't announced them yet. We're actually going to make a video. I'm actually going to have now don't quote me, but I think me and Caleb from Foxcast Media are going to do a live stream about the event. In the future, we're going to talk about Ford Takeover maybe a couple times between now and then. But it's going to be super epic, man. June 24th, 23rd and 24th. The whole weekend is going to be epic. But, you know, at the drag strip on Jackson, Tennessee, you know, we're going to be holding a little shootout on top of the test and tune. So just so you guys know, there's still going to be plenty of test and tune, plenty of racing going on all day outside of the shootout. It's not just the shootout. So let me just make that clear. But any plans on the engine build chat video, like to run some combos by y'all to get some feedback? Usually, what do you mean? Any plans for an engine build chat video? I'm not sure what you mean. Like individual chat? I mean, the membership stuff we do below, I talk in there all the time with the different levels of membership. Usually field a lot of questions there. If I make it to Ford Takeover, I would make my year. That would be cool, man. What is shots fired? Shots fired where? Explorer block max horsepower. It's a hyper detective piston. I've seen them go 500 plus. Matter of fact, my buddy Randy Davis runs a short block from an Explorer. So, you know, he's been 500, 480, 500, 520 plus for like 2 or 3 years now. So I think it's all in the tune. To be honest with you, Kent, it's pretty much in the tune, man. If you have a good tune, you keep the RPMs down. That's a big one. You can make a stock block 302 last. I mean, I saw someone selling some TRW forged pistons with rods for $20. Yeah. Sweet, man. I thought I would remember the video. That's correct. A video you made. I like that. Yep. What are the biggest rims you put on your Fox body? 10 by 10 and a halves. We have 10 and a halves on the black car back here. Wherever that's at. With 315 35s. It's not mini tubbed. It only sticks out a little bit. Like it's pretty flat with the edge of the actual fender of the, where the fender flare is. But it does come out just a little bit. I did have to put a little bigger spacer on than I wanted to because I have 3-inch tailpipes. So I did a whole video about it. If I didn't have 3-inch tailpipes, I could set that motor or set that the wheel and the tire in a little bit more and be a little more flush with the flange or the flare there, and it would look cool. But it's got the deep dish on it, so pretty cool. Sean, usually you see 17s in the front, and that's about the biggest. You can put 18s on there. That's not a big deal. FTO is going to be off the hook this year. Seriously, guys, if you can make it, make it. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of really cool racing going on Saturdays and just hanging out all weekend for the most part. Intake pump, external, in-tank pump or external, what's best? Holley EFI system. Just depends on what you set it up with. They make some triple hat in-tank pumps that you could use. Put a couple 340s on there to feed 700, 800. Exterior pumps, 750 Magna Fuel, pretty much good for E85, 800 or 900 wheel before you have to start push pumping it or whatever. So it depends on what your goals. When you start creating horsepower and you start creating the need for more fuel, you should always go more than you need. A dash 10, dash 8 feed. If you're going to build a system, you might as well just make it a big system or a bigger system than you ever think you're going to get, because you can always regulate it. And even if you don't completely utilize the system, like my dash 10 dash 8 is good for 1,000 wheel on E85, but we're not even near that on my black or my my white car. We're like 750, 800. So 20-inch wheel rims too big? No, they're not too big to put on a Mustang. I've seen 20s on a Mustang and they actually look pretty nice. Can't chill at 450 and less than 6K. Yep, that's what he said. You could live on a 302, on a well-tuned 302 stroker and or boosted stroker, 450, 500 wheel, depending on the harmonics, like, your balancer and your external balance on the back, the flywheel, whatever. You could live on about 6K RPMs. You could live for a long time on that motor. All right, Robert, it's good to see you, man. 331 stroker, T56 mag, on 3 kit, Weekend Warrior. What gear ratio would you recommend? 331 or 335? T56 mag, depending on what gear ratio the first gear is. T56 made a 266 first, which you probably own. If that's the scenario, I would definitely probably think about running a 373. On a 297 first gear, T56 like I run, definitely 355s. If for just general, I mean, I race on a 355, so it's you could use it. It's fine. I appreciate that, Hacks Garage. Yeah, you're welcome, Ryan. So, all right. What do we got coming up on the channel this week? I got shot 3 videos this weekend. 351 at 1,000 horsepower. You guys will like that one. We shot a video with the black car. There was something wrong with the turbo kit. Actually, there was something wrong with the car that wouldn't even let it run right. Sound like shit. What else did we shoot? Oh, we're doing the top 10 horsepower mods, or top 5, top 10. I don't remember. I'm not really sure which way I want to roll with it. Yeah, when you're building a street trip car. So pretty cool videos. 387 news about the 387 stroker. We got the oil pan back, or we're getting the oil pan tomorrow. We had to have it modified for the, we're putting a T56 behind it naturally. And the oil pan that we're running that we just had sitting on the shelf that we didn't want to spend $600 on another oil pan. We had to modify it because the cable was getting bent around it or whatever. So we're going to be doing another video of the 387 soon, very, very soon, of finishing putting the cylinder heads on, oil pan on, and kind of give you an idea of what we're about to do to it. All right. So give it a couple more minutes. Hanlon, any word on Maple Grove Dragway is coming? I heard new owners took over. Love to see NMRA back. That's right. Got a couple more minutes to answer some questions if you guys need them. What else we got coming up? Oh, you know what? There's a video I haven't shot yet. We're gonna actually, you guys are gonna. I got a lot of content coming. I only gave you one video last week, and I apologize. It was super busy. We did a live stream, and then I did I think it was a Tuesday video. But we will be catching up. We'll be doing a lot of content this week. So I can't wait to see the 387 running the notchback. It's not going in the notchback. You guys will be super surprised on what that's going in. Anyways, we're going to add one more. Mercury Caprice. To be honest with you, to me, it was the 86 EFIs. The original 5.0s. My buddy Vince here in town had one, and it was badass. So here's your list, boys. This helps any of y'all. You know, FOXBODY prices and these cars are definitely going to continue to increase in price, especially with the low production number of colors and such. You know, as far as how much in price, well, again, it's a supply and demand thing. You know, the more people that get interested in FOXBODYs, the more stuff that we do to our cars and people see it on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, the cooler it is, man. The more people want to get into it. It's a good hobby to be in. You know, if you legitimately own a FOXBODY and, you know, you dump some money into it, you know, consider the fact that if it's nice and it's in pretty good shape and you've done some pretty tasteful things to it, like as far as modifications, then I wouldn't worry too much about, you know, getting a little return on it for the most part. You know, it's not something that you just waste your money and then it's gone. You know, if you're making something that's nice, you know, if you create a hatchback or a coupe, you know, or take one of these, you know, rarer, you know, production model cars and make it, like, restore it, even the 7-Up. It's got its place, man. I mean, SN95 is next. I don't know if there's definitely going to be a pull for SN95 eventually. They had some rare SN95 colors and in combination, you know, the Mystic Chrome, right? Mystic Cobra. I mean, that was super hard to find. But to be honest with you guys, regardless of what color your car is, regardless of how many was made, my black GT back here was one of like 10,000. My white GT is the same thing, one of like 9,000. You know, the SSP was probably one of 10,000 made that year, but it was just 100. You know, it just got its call to duty for, you know, 170 of those went to Florida and, you know, got put into some action. Probably was driven really hard and, you know, but you know, as far as your FOXBODY is concerned, I'm always talking about on the channel. You guys see me always working on these cars. You know, get your shit off the jack stands. You know, it doesn't matter what color it is. It doesn't matter how bad the interior is. Get it running, learn how to work on it, maintain it, make it better. Even if it's stock, there's a lot of cool things to do to stock cars that are bone stock, like upgrading the bushings, you know, on the complete suspension and body, because those are all dry rotted at this point, I guarantee you. You know, there's just maintenance items that you could do to a stock bottom end car that would really, you know, really help the car in general. But, you know, FOXBODY prices, I don't think are going anywhere anytime soon. if anything, it's just going to naturally go up in price with the interest, you know, the supply and demand thing, because they don't make them anymore. And, you know, we're losing more and more every day to one reason or another. You know what I mean? So I knew at some point that, and I created what I did, you know, what I do with my Fox bodies. You know, I knew at some point that supply and demand would overshadow the actual amount of cars that are out there. So it was definitely something that not only did I enjoy Fox body as I'm a Fox body fanatic, much like everybody else is, but, you know, I just enjoyed the sheer history of it. And so I dedicated a lot of my time in my life to learn that specific car. And it's just what I do. You know, I think about it every day, and that's what we do. I mean, we don't have a 100,000 subscriber YouTube channel. We'll probably be lucky if we ever see 50,000. But if I can make 50,000 subscribers enjoy my Fox body only content, you know, then I'm doing my job. You know, if I could share what I can share. I hope you're saying good info, man. I appreciate you, Kent. I appreciate the super sticker too. What's up, Nathan Tuck? Nathan Tuck is one of the oldest subscribed member at the highest tier. It's good to see you, buddy. It's always a pleasure having you here in chat, man. I might have to hit you, Uncle Buddy Turner, see if you can hook me up. Okay. Let me look through the chat here. There was a lot of really nice R's on Foxtoberfest. I agree with that. Your donor engine runs now. Cool, man. So, anyways, without further ado, I want to make a big shout out. Sponsors on the channel: Hannah Motorsports, you know, MAF Racing, Trick Flow Specialties, McLeod Racing, yes. Just to name a few, Mosier, you know, TI Dyno over here in Ashtabula, just to name a few. So, appreciate all those guys and what they do for me here at Neo Mustangs. And of course, you, just for listening to me babble for like 2 hours. What you do every day, what I wish I could be doing. I appreciate that. Listen, I had an idea, I had a dream. Just be good, you know, be good at what you do. Neo, what are the lightest wheels we can get our Foxes? What are the lightest wheels we can get for our Foxes? The RC, you talking about race wheels or regular wheels? Like, they make race wheels that are super light. Like the RC comp ones are like 10 pounds. So those are the ones that we have for the white car. But if you're talking about regular like wheels, like daily driver street-ish wheels, I couldn't answer that question. But I know that they make some pretty light ones out there. Some billet specialties maybe come to mind. Thoughts on rear coilovers versus lower control arm adjustables? Rear coilovers have their advantages and disadvantages. But to be honest with you, I'm going to always be an adjustable upper lower LCAs or control arms. I'm always going to have spherical ends. Might ride kind of like shit if you're driving on the street, but I'm kind of used to that at this point with a faceplated in a spool. So unless there was an absolute need to go rear coilover, your factory GTs or LX springs are just fine. Run a good shock, run a good strut, you see what I mean, and do what you can do. You know what I mean? Don't worry too much about that. There is reason for rear coilovers in specific applications. Again, it's all about what you're trying to do for your Fox body. Sorry, the answer is so vague, but it is what it is. RC Comp is the brand. Bogarts probably. Steeda made light wheels back in the day. Factory bullet wheels. What other engines have you dealt with? What other engines have you dealt with? A lot of them. All of them. 289, 302, 351, 306 long rod, 327, 331, 347, 342s, 351, 357, 363 Dart or Ford, Boss. 387 now. That's the first time I've done a 387. I had never built a 393. We built a 408 in a white car, which is actually a 410. Whatever. All of them. All push rod. I never messed with a 2.3. 2.3s have their place though. I've never messed with a modular motor. I tinkered with a modular motor, but I didn't really get into the 4.6s very much. Coyote would probably be the next motor that I would mess with, or the Godzilla. It'd be one of those two. I'd just jump right into one of those two. So I guess the Coyote and the Godzilla's is that a modular? I don't remember. I haven't done a whole lot on the Godzilla. Carlos, man, I appreciate the $2 super sticker, man. Thanks for donating to the channel tonight. And I go to all this stuff I do with Fox Bodies, man. Thank you so much. 427 I have not built. That 427 is an aftermarket block. I have not owned a 9.5 aftermarket block just yet. We'll see where we're at. Have you ever built a road course car? I have not, but I guarantee you that if we had a road course around here, instead of having 4 drag strips within an hour and 20 minutes, probably would build one just for that. It's kind of sad because I'd really like to see road courses kind of come to a fold. I'm hoping maybe Cunley does change that up and do that, does something of the nature. Excuse me. Because that's a whole different build, man. That's what I thought. Godzilla is a pushrod motor. I didn't want to say modular and then say pushrod and be confusing, but Godzilla would definitely be something of interest. Nelson Ledges has one, but I don't. How far is Nelson Ledges from here? Is it pretty packed? Is it a pretty good road course, or is it worth doing that? Mod motors are like LS. They don't make any low-end grunt without a power adder. I don't know, man. I know some pretty badass NA cars that are mod motors for the most part. Got a couple more minutes here. We'll BS for a minute. Oh yeah, this is one of the videos I'm gonna do. Y'all like my big ass turbo? I think his turbo was like $250. It came with the SSP. It's a big old brand new turbo. I don't know. 70, I don't know. I'm not real sure how big the turbo is. It was way too big for a stock bottom end, that's for sure. Anyways, you guys know I run a 90. This is one of the videos where we're deep into live stream here. I can start giving away some secrets. One of the sponsors to the channel, which is new again, they gave me a couple housings to mess with. AGP. Anybody ever heard of AGP? Now, you guys know I run a 7675 Gen 1 precision turbo on both my white and my black car. Pretty badass turbos. They 1150 is their power limits, whatever. Probably one of the most sought after turbos used. And the shitty part is Precision makes an 80, which is really nice turbo between the 363 and like the 408s and the 357s and the 351s. But the shitty part is the 76, 75 turbos, like the biggest housing that they had for those Gen 1, Gen 2 is a 0.96 AR. So that's pretty much, AR, meaning your exhaust housing. So it was kind of a funny story. Real quick, I was on Facebook and I was talking to a buddy of mine who follows the channel here, so shout out to him. He had a 7675 Gen 1 turbo at a CEA design, which is the same ones as I got, and he had a 127 housing on it. And I'm like, that's impossible. They don't create a 127 housing for a precision turbo. He says, au contraire, bro. So he sent me over to AGP Turbo, and this is a 1.27 AR housing specifically made for that turbo. Since that's one of their commonly sold turbos, 7675. Like I said, their biggest housing is 0.96, which is kind of small, especially for motors that create a lot of steam, like 363s and 351s, and even the stroker motor 347. It's kind of a small housing. Anyway, they're in production to making a 1.0, a 1.0, a 1.10, a 127, 28, or whatever. They're making housings, but they never released them last year. So long story short, AGP not only creates housings for precision turbos, but they create housings for Garrett and some of the popular ones like Turbonetics, like oddball housing numbers, you know what I mean, that you would like to get on your turbo. So this is something that what this does for us here on the channel is it kind of takes away our, I'll explain it in the video best I can, but in a nutshell, I think we can make some more horsepower at the same boost that they're running at with this thing right here. You guys got to stick around. I'm telling you, it's going to be cool as shit. So at about 15 pounds, 16 pounds on my 408, you know, it's going to be really cool, man. It relieves some of the back pressure on the turbo system, and maybe we can get some more air through that turbo. War Admiral, man. What's up, War Admiral? I ain't seen Tom in a while. It's good to see you, man. $20 super sticker. Thank you so much, Tom. If you guys don't get a chance, you guys know who Tom is, man. He's got that badass coupe that's in our FOXBODY, John. That one-off stuff, man. You guys don't know who he is, go check him out on Instagram. His stuff is fire. And, you know, I appreciate him coming into the channel tonight. Thank you so much. PT76 GTS. Any all-wheel drive turbo. Wait, what did he say? What did he say? Neo, you should look into the GT 4276. Some of those housings went up to 144. I think the 76, the PT 7675 is a perfect turbo for what we're trying to do stick shift, because I really don't need the two-step, but I can still use the two-step. But one of the biggest problems that we were having, and we're beating the crap out of my springs and my valves, I know it is the fact we had, you know, the rule of thumb with turbo housings, rule of thumb is you want to have a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you got compressor side, you want 15 pounds of boost, you want your, you know, exhaust, you know, the turbine side to be 15 pounds of back pressure. So you kind of want a 1-to-1 relationship. What I got going on right now with my black and my white GT FOXBODY is with the 7675 turbo is I know that it's got to be at least double. I got to be 25 or 30. And the only way to really tell is to put a switch on it, and like, you know, like an EGT switch or a pressure switch, which I'm not going to drill into my housings to figure that out. But that's really the only way to know. And what happens when you get too much back pressure on your turbo, and I'll explain this in the video in more detail, is it backs up into your turbo kit, and it just beats the shit out of your valves and your springs. And you know, it blows header gaskets. Does that sound familiar? It makes wastegates spike. It makes them fail, you know, overwork. That's why I got really big wastegates on all my turbo systems, because at least once that big wastegate opens up, it gets rid of all that crap that needs to get out of that tube. So that's why I don't break and crack headers anymore. What we got here? Chris Gardner, man. Appreciate the $20 super chat, man. Thank you so much for donating to the channel. I appreciate everybody tonight that is, you know, donated to the channel. And I think we have a new member as well. Tyler Wright. Appreciate you joining the membership. You guys are curious about that, it's the join button below right here in the live stream and all my videos. But guys, man, what's Liberty? This guy right here? Who's still doing pro shifting for older TKOs? I don't think they don't pro shift anymore. It's all face plated. You must be running a T4 housing. Yes. T6, you're right. T6 should be it, but we're going to stick with T4 for now. You've measured yours. I'm getting like 3-to-1 exhaust to boost. Now, the rule of thumb, the way it's explained to me is in a perfect case scenario, 1-to-1 is what you want, but it's very hard to kind of accomplish that. You got to have it's got to be like a perfect storm. So if I can get around 2-to-1, if I can be 25 to 30 PSI, 25 PSI back pressure on that type of single turbo, and, you know, 15 pounds of boost, then that's not really putting a lot of pressure, especially with the big wastegate. I run a 66, like I said. I don't run a 46 precision. It works out pretty well. So Carlos, man, I appreciate you joining the channel, man. Thank you so much. It's good to have you here. We do talk a lot in all the videos that we release for the week. All get seen early for my members. Nice thing about the early viewing on the channel is you're able to see some of the videos, and you're able to like them and comment on them and talk about them before they're even released. So it's a pretty cool thing to have. So, guys, about hour and 45 minutes in. Appreciate all the, it's a hot topic, man. We talked about this very thing a year ago, and it was the same scenario. Matter of fact, it was on the rise a year ago. In 2021, 2022, it was a pretty hot topic. They just, you started seeing them on Barrett Jacksons. You started seeing these Fox bodies on, Meekum and Haggerty. You started seeing them rise. And honestly, not gonna lie to you, it's supply and demand. So to have a Fox body today is to have a piece of history, is almost to have an investment that is going to continue to grow. Depending on how well you put it together, depending on how much money you put into it, how much work you put into it. You can follow videos like mine, you can follow videos like some of the other channels, like with Foxcast and Brutal, and some of the other restoration people out there, and you can really gain some knowledge from this stuff. You need some help. There's usually a lot of people out there that'll help. There's some good Facebook forums out there that are some tech forums that'll definitely help you in your journey making your Fox body a little bit better. It's an investment. It's a love. It's a passion of mine. It's something that I've loved since I was in the 90s. I'm a 90s kid. I know a lot of guys that follow my channel here. A lot of folks that follow my channel here are in the 90s too. So big shout out to you guys. Definitely enjoy talking some nostalgia stuff, including the IROC and the Grand National topic. So yeah, if I ever, I'd like to own them all, to be honest with you. I'd like to have I'd like to have my Fox bodies, of course, because I'm the Fox body fanatic. But I would definitely like to have a blue IROC. I would definitely like to have a silver Monte Carlo SS, and I would definitely like to have the black Grand National all kind of like parked next to each other, just to say I own them all. Super awesome. So, yeah, buy them while you can. Keep prices going up. It's just supply and demand. People are just getting, people want to race. So I want to give a special shout out tonight to, Jason Fields for the $9.99 super chat. Super appreciate you. Super Dave, once again, $20 super sticker, man. Appreciate you tonight on the channel. All this stuff goes to the channel, stays in the channel. Got your shirt going out, by the way. So Super Dave, you're still here. I do apologize. You did send me an email. Guys, one more time with the Fox Days of Christmas. If you haven't got your stuff yet, it's coming. It's on its way. There was only 2 items that was unclaimed, and we'll get to those. Kent McCraney, $4.99 super sticker. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, man. Carlos, $1.99 super sticker. War Admiral in the house, $19.99 super chat. Thanks so much, man. It's good to see you. Chris Gordner, $20 super sticker, super chat. Thanks once again as well. And Tyler Wright and Carlos Pimentel for joining the channel membership, guys. Appreciate you guys. Everybody that has, that's part of the channel that has donated. So, yeah, guys, if you're watching this live stream after it happens, we're about to get off here and end the live. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think of the Fox body prices. Let me know what you guys think is going to happen here in 2023. Are they going to, are the prices going to dive? Are they going to continue to plateau out? Or are they going to stay where they're at? You think they're going to climb? I don't know. I think that with each passing year, we have less and less Fox bodies to mess with. I just think they're just going to continue to rise. And I'm not here to try to inflate any prices. It's just common sense, So, Swedish Sugar, $1.99 super chat, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Appreciate it all. Have a good night, guys. Again, we got a lot of content coming up. I shot 3 videos this past weekend to catch up, and I have 2 more to shoot, including one with the 387. And we are going to the dyno to put these on. Remember that? Yeah, that's coming this week. We were supposed to do the video Thursday and shoot it Thursday, but the dyno shop was busy all weekend. So we're going to put these on Dad's car. Remember, I promised you guys that video like 6 months ago. But before we take Dad's driveline out, got to put these on. Got to see what the difference is. So, all right, man. So, again, make a plan, guys. Get a whiteboard. Work on your shit. Get it off your jack stands. Get that thing running, even if you got to put stock parts back on it. It's already mid-January, about 2 more months up here north, and we're going to be into some warm weather again, and we're going to be racing. So we don't have a whole lot of time. Drive your Fox body. Enjoy your Fox body. It's what we do here. Anyways, without further ado, guys, I appreciate everybody on the channel. I appreciate you for chiming in tonight. Great topic. We'll talk about something like this next week. Stay tuned. See you soon in the next live. Actually, I'll see you soon in my videos in a day. Have a good night.